Alright. Previously, the group of you have completed your job for the Opulent Depth Mining Company. You located the remains, well, the body of one and the remains of, partial remains of another miner, that had been beset and were in the process of being consumed by this thing that you've dubbed the Needle Monster. You returned to Elderthorn and found that you were facing accusation. Accusation of murder. It seems that Lander Goldworthy, the son of Leofric and Maud Goldworthy of the Now You Die Tailor and Clothier, the eve that you had set out, the eve of the day that you had left, was found with his stomach flayed open by a local boy, Wes, the butcher's son, who had ran to get help from Blackburn Watch, but was not fast enough to try to save Lander for them to intervene in his untimely expiration. When you returned, the group was beleaguered by the accusations levied against you. You had good cause that you couldn't have done it. You were not here. But people talk. This band of people with at least one outsider suddenly disappears. I'll put two and two together. It can't be someone from our community, right? So you had to fight off these accusations. Although thankfully it seems like Lieutenant Arvir of the Blackburn Watch, some of which you are currently members, believes your tale that you are legitimately not suspects in this, that you are trying to clear your names. And to his credit, Dunnan has expounded upon his desire to see the person or persons responsible for this grisly demise brought to justice, such that it will finally put to bed any rumors that old crones might have about him and the rest of the group, but also as a way to maybe ingratiate himself a little bit more into the fabric of the community. The rest of you probably don't sit well knowing that someone is about to killing somebody, and it's of great concern. Now, you spoke with Leofric and Maud briefly at the wake, who employed you to come and speak with them for tea the following day. It's been a few days since the pyre, and whilst they are still grieving in their own ways and at different points, while they are grieving in their own ways, and at different points of the grief, they are seeking you to assist in bringing the individual to justice. Now, after speaking with Leofric and Maud, you investigated their son's bedchamber, room, mostly almost apartments, in the upstairs of the clothier and tailor shop. It had been set up preemptively for him and Nara to be wed. Nara is the mayor's daughter, who had fallen ill towards late summer last year, and has been confined and quarantined to her own chambers within her mother's home until such time that she does better. You've pried open a floorboard and found a secret journal that Lander kept, detailing the beautiful love affair that he had with Nar over the summer months, and the amount of time that he's spent there since. You've also found a strange bit of parchment that doesn't seem to match anything else that he has, with crimson writing upon it. It looks very much like blood. You're strongly concerned about. You've stowed these things away from the prying eyes of his parents, or those who were his parents, and now have left the Goldworthys to investigate what potential avenues any type of murder weapon might have. You've gone to the Sea Dock ward after speaking with Dr. Zillan Booncraft of the Upland Depths Mining Company. Gone to the Sea Dock ward to inquire about any people that had come in on ships recently. Travelers. Seems like a good opportunity. Travelers aren't as well trusted as members of the community itself. And you found that not everyone signed up for the return voyage to Armskirk as guards. Of note, 2 half-elves actually didn't even take the second half of their pay. That'd be Alan and Hilnia Kiley. Names in chat. A little bit higher up. These 2 twins arrived in Elderthorn, didn't help unload the ship, and were gone. So you're seeking them, potentially, for any information they might have, hopefully. You've also expressed interest in speaking with the Amberbraid Armorers about the presence of these types of knives used for flaying or flaying. Fillet or flay? And this is where we're picking up today. You're continuing your investigation. Is there anyone who would like to start?
We are currently all at the docks, right?
Currently all at the docks, outside of the Gnome Depot warehouse. You've mentioned and expressed interest in being able to speak with some of the individuals that I've mentioned, but no one has sort of split up as the party as of yet.
Hellerast is a little concerned, just in the back of her head. Usually when blood dries, it's more brown and less crimson. So she's wondering if it is blood or if it's some kind of blood that's not necessarily human. That's just keeping that in the back of her mind. It doesn't quite set with her that that's just blood. Because when blood dries, it does get brown, not crimson. That's all she's got in her mind. Like, that doesn't seem quite as a cool answer. Like, but that's it.
Well, for those who wanted to go talk to the Amber Braids, shall we make that stop and along the way see if we can ask about these twins, see if they've been spotted, maybe around the tavern?
Yeah, we could do it. There is also this Wes boy who found Lander in the day of the killing.
We can also ask him.
Do you know this boy you mentioned?
Give me a history check.
Me or Aeolus?
You.
Okay. History. Oh boy.
Whoa, there you go.
First roll of the night.
There's good numbers on dice every now and then.
Never seen a green 19.
Clearly, you've never played fighters.
Clearly, yeah.
You rack your brain. Yeah, you know who Wes is. You've probably not spoken with him directly, but maybe you've done a few purchases here and there when you wanted a extra nice piece of meat for Buka to put together for you, and you've purchased something from the butcher shop yourself. Yeah, Wes is the butcher's son. You know exactly where his father would be at the very least.
Now that that the ale from yesterday has worn off a little bit. I seem to recall, isn't Wes that butcher's boy? Is that on the way, maybe, to the Ember Braids? Or a little detour? Might be worth following up.
Spencer, can we be thrown to the overhead mat?
Of course. Here you are.
Yeah, so the Amber Braids is in the Trader's Row.
Mm-hmm.
We would have
Amber
to...
Braids and the Hammer in Hand is Charlie and Bravo, respectively.
Yep.
The Market March is Mike up here, and the Butchers is along the side of the Market March. It'd be this collection of shops here on the corner.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, we can head to the
There.
Butcher.
You guys are currently in this sort of area, the C-Dock Ward. But there's also the Market March, which is a collection of stalls, vendors, things like that are set up every day after moon set. And they need to be broken down before moon rise. So you can set up before daybreak, and go a little bit after sunset, but not very long at all. But it is where most of the business of town takes place. Trades of goods, pelts, meats, fish, tools, crafts. Anyone who works on farms that doesn't work like in the fields, making baskets, weaving linens, dyeing fabrics, tanning hides. You can find a lot of different things. Everything that doesn't require like a physical shop to set up, such as like the armorer, you can usually find at the Market March.
Right.
Yeah.
And last week, when I asked about the flaying knife, I was directed towards the Market March.
Correct. And there's two places that such accoutrement could be acquired. One would have been the Hammer and Hand Smithy, and Amber Braid. Like if it was something special, like if you needed something special ordered, but generally something like that would also be easily imported, because they can be a little bit more easily mass produced than a skilled single smithy in the town of Elderthorn. Amber Braid's probably got other jobs other than making sure someone has a knife.
Okay. Then should we head to Market March so we can ask the butcher and his...
I think
Boy.
it would be worthwhile, yes.
Let's go there. And on the way, I can stop and grab a few things from the house.
At current time of day is like early morning.
About noon, because you met
noon.
from
Okay.
mid-morning tea with the
yeah.
Goldworthys, spent some time there, then spoke with Zillan Booncraft and C-Dock Ward, probably early afternoon at this point. I'm thinking about
So Market March would be bustling now.
Yeah, it's about 1 p.m.
Okay.
Probably be one of the busier parts of the day.
I guess there is a high chance then we're gonna find at least the butcher. I don't know if the butcher's boy is gonna be there, but it's worth a shot.
Let's go then.
And this way.
And then, Willem, I saw what you messaged me. I don't know where that is either, truthfully.
Who, where?
Nothing. Willem knows.
That's funny. Well, I'll come up with another one.
Sounds good. It's in my notes somewhere, I'm sure. I'll find it in 2 months.
Perfect. Sorry if I'm going to be... I probably won't be as talkative today. I'm fighting off some sort of illness or something. I apologize, folks.
No worries. Hope you're feeling better. Alright, so picking your way through the C-Dock Ward, you said you wanted to go to your abode first, Aeolus?
Yeah, I'll meet everyone at the Market March. I just wanted to grab a couple of monster parts.
Okay. Are you Okay, so you're going to your home first while they go to the market march, and then you got to catch up with them.
Yes.
Okay, I understand. All right, so you're going to do that. The rest of you pick your way through, out of the Sea Dock Ward, through the tilt winds, and you can smell the rushing water of the Troll Run drifting over the tilt winds at this point. It's a nice area, and as soon as you get out of the Sea Dock Ward to the north of Blackburn Keep, you can actually feel the wind start to pick up as you're a little bit away from the slopes that make up the Pinwood, to the point where it's not in the shelter of that large bluff of stone and earth anymore. And as you pick your way through, there is a bevy of activity. You come through the last alleyway, and like it usually is, there's 3 dozen stalls easily. People selling all manner of things. Looks like a lot of people have been busy over the winter, this time of year, early spring especially. Every craftsman that's been busy making scrimshaw baskets, weaving. Everyone has an abundance of wares at the moment, which means good prices, but that also means there's a lot of people here doing purchasing as well. You hear prices being shouted out, and there's this, not to the point where you have to shout to each other, but there's a constant dull roar of just ambient sound percolating through the space, covering the whole area like a dense blanket. You've traded the blanket of winter for this noise. There's enough space in between the stalls to move comfortably. All of the stalls are spaced 2 carts width apart, such that one cart can go down the center and not interfere with the people standing in front of any stall. But it is still busy. You see maybe, best estimate, 300, 400 people milling about, working on purchasing, haggling, selling, things of that sort. You do see, because this is of interest to the group of you, off to the western side of Market March, there is a set of stalls that bear the logo of the Opulent Depth Mining Company and Gnome Depot, which you would know that those are the registered traders that take their supply from the warehouse and then sell to the rest of Elderthorn.
Is the butcher's stand visible anywhere?
The butcher has a shop, a full building. That's the northernmost structure. It's this one. But you would know where that is. So it's on the far side of where you came in through this alleyway, so to speak.
Well, I guess business takes us there.
There you go. You can see that arrow more easily. Okay, so heading directly to the butcher's?
Yeah.
Oh, certainly.
If nobody objects. Anybody needs anything?
No, we're good.
Alright. Now let's go to the butcher's.
Off to the butcher's you go. Picking way around the outside rather than trying to get through the crowd and the line stalls that would direct you in on ways that you wouldn't want to go. You make your way around the march and come to the butcher's shop. The front windows have a sort of a half curtain across the bottom of it, such that someone's not trying to look up dresses or something like that as they walk by. The entrance has a stone pavered set of steps that go up into the structure itself. The door is open at the moment, letting in the nice spring air. But as you step in, there's a little bit of busyness in here. About 4 patrons are currently waiting on something or waiting to place an order of some variety. Do you wait or do you push ahead of them?
I'll wait until everybody has left.
5 minutes pass, and one person sidles past the group of you with a package wrapped underneath their arms. Someone else you hear come up the steps behind you. That's too busy. Oh my gosh. I turn away, seeing the group of you filling up a lot of the space inside. But within about 10 minutes total of your arrival, you guys are next in line. And you see the wide handlebar mustache of the butcher that doesn't really fit his frame whatsoever. A very slight man, wielding a impressive display of knife skill as he's working on, pretty sure it's a piece of venison at the moment. He turns around. Donnan, how you doing? What can I do for you?
Good to see you. Well,
My pleasure.
unfortunately, we are here on not so pleasant business this time. Might your son be around, Wes?
He should be. If you see him, tell him he's late for work. We've been steady throughout the day.
Did your son tell you anything about, the Lander boy, the lad that was killed? We were told that he was the one who found him.
He had mentioned, had an eye for what happened, but other than speaking about it briefly, no. What cut can I get for you today? We did get some good venison in the night before. It's tender enough. I would recommend a good stew or a roast with it.
Well, let's first do the business and then go over to business. Alright?
Business
Pretty
and
sure.
business. I like business.
I'm gonna bring some venison for a booker.
That would be the butcher's name, from Hallam.
Okay.
Well, how about while I prepare your cut, we can talk.
Sure.
What'll it be? 3 inches?
Oh.
4 inches? 8
Like-
inches?
Like the 5 kilograms.
Sort of raises an eyebrow at you. Of course. My pleasure. And he starts preparing the meat. What can I help you with, then? And you hear that heavy thud of a cleaver break through bone.
Well, we are currently investigating the murder or death of Lander and following every lead we can get. We also already talked to his parents. But yeah.
It was
Well-
a shame here when I heard about that. He was a good kid. You hear the grinding of a knife on a stropping stone as he's preparing one to cut off some of the sinuous tissue. And you wanted to see if Wes saw anything else?
Well, if anything was suspicious or if he saw anybody run away from the crime scene. I mean, somebody must have cut open the guts of Lander. I just wanna hear the story from West Side.
Of course. When I find him, is there a spot that you'd like me to send him to speak with you?
Well,
You see,
we're gonna.
takes a long, slightly curved knife and is very carefully cutting like subcutaneous fat off of a piece as he's presenting it well for you.
Well, we're gonna go next to the Amber Parade, so if you find him, tell him to go to the Amber Parades, or if he's late, then in the evening we'll probably be at the Faded Gate Inn.
Of course, I'd be happy to send him there. Now, allow me to interject some of my own expertise. As you see, he's wiping one of the knives that he's using on a piece of towel cloth that he has sort of bound to one of his forearms, just to clean off some of the things that might make it slippery and dangerous to wield. Anyone capable of doing what? I heard a little bit of the details. Is not unskilled with... He gestures at the array of knives that he has set up. Knife work. It's not just anyone that could do that. Hunters, particularly. Anyone who could, as he slaps the haunch of meat that he's starting to wrap up for you. Anyone that's bringing in something like this, that's who you'll want to look at. You don't want to cut into the organs when you're doing field butchery. It can cause the meat to spoil, introduce bio into it, give it a tannic flavor, not good. That would be my recommendation. Hunters know their way around a knife, and they know their way around protecting meat. Not that I'm insinuating Lander's just a piece of meat, mind you. But the skill.
You mean somebody has to be very precise for such a cut?
Sorry, I
So hunters and
didn't mean to
butchers,
imply.
and I give him a half grin.
My bet would be on someone with hunting skill, not just anyone. And even when you're, as he's presenting the package, whole 11 pounds of meat you just purchased. Very good way to get him to loosen up his tongue. Anyone who's hunting venison understands where the organs are and what to avoid when cutting into the venison.
Where do you get your deer from?
I have
Any particular name?
these two that I've had. Now I have about 1 1/3 after the purchases today. Came from one of the farms to the north of here. One moment, I have a note who I purchased it from.
I have a question for you.
The Shirley. One of the kids brought in the things. Yes, sir.
Is your boy usually late for work?
He has been sometimes. It's not uncommon. Not usually this late. But that's... He's at that age where he just wants to run about and have his head in the clouds about everything.
Would you have any idea whereabouts he would hang out?
I'm not sure. He's been spending less time with Bryson, my elder boy. Bryson's been, to his credit, doing his diligence. He's set to join the watch next year or two, and I think he understands the importance of it. So, but of course that's one child gaining responsibility, the other wants to start acting out. What am I to do? As he slams the cleaver into the cutting board. But, I'll send him by Amber Braids or the gate. When he happens by, I'll just tell him to look out for you, Denon, if that's okay.
Yeah, maybe state that it's a city business. Maybe it delivers the message that it's important.
Of course. I'd be pleased to assist in any way that I can for such a fantastic customer such as you. By the way, that'll be 22 silver.
Oh boy. Does somebody have 13 silver? I just got 9 on me.
I will throw down the 13 silver.
Much appreciated, Eolus.
Much appreciated, Aeolus.
Oh boy, I'm broke again.
It's a
Eli
lot of
breast.
meat you just
Yeah,
purchased.
yeah.
That's a ton of meat.
Well, hey, Heli breast, you still owe me some ale, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, great. Oh boy, they've been thirsty in the evening then. All right,
Mm-hmm.
let's go to the Amber Braids before I buy more and I'm in debt again.
I have plenty more if you'd like to buy some.
Well, no, better next time. Have a
Fine.
nice day. Thank you. Bye bye.
He's already moved on from the conversation at this point. He continues the business as you guys step back out, carrying this like baby-sized hunk of venison.
Dunnan, I can
That's
give
a
you the
lot of
money
meat.
for it, and
Oh,
I can spend some time cooking us up some meals for our travels.
Oh, that would be nice. I was planning on giving it to Puka, but I mean, are you able to cook 5 kilograms of venison?
Oh yeah, I'm used to
Might
cooking for
take
the
you a while.
numbers and my family. That seems like a small meal.
Well, I'll hand over the venison to Willem then.
And I'll hand over. How much was it?
22 silver.
I'll split it back between the two.
Okay. So done in at 9 back, and Aeolus get 13 back.
It seems like I can buy some ale anyways. Thank you very much, Willem.
Of course, I do excellent at feeding my friends and family.
You're a good lad, Willem.
Yes, and I still have some of those hot peppers that I can add to it.
Oh, that's gonna go
Amazing.
nice with some venison, like a good stew. Sounds nice.
Then the rest of the time while we're wandering through this, I'll look for the little veggies and spices to go with it. By the way.
Sure. Roll me 3d4. Helleras, make me a sleight of hand check also, by the way, for what you've been trying to do.
Betcha. At least hopefully nobody noticed it was creepy.
Yeah, it's not the most friendly thing to be doing, but it doesn't really go awry. That said, a lot of what you're finding that you found in the shop, specifically, is less of like life's blood and more of like that very faintly tinged like water and fluid that's coming out of already butchered meat.
Yeah, meat juice.
Yeah, it's not like a blood of a freshly killed animal.
Right.
So you're getting results, but you know immediately that it's not quite going as you were hoping. At the very least, you indicate none of the meat juice matches what you're looking at.
Right. She's thinking maybe she needs to go to the Mythsmith bookstore and see what kind of inks they have.
Also available. So Willem, you roll me 3d4. Mark off anywhere up to 9 silver.
And it is.
And you purchase everything you need to make a good sort of pepper, onion, and root vegetable stew, so that way you can roast this and then shred it and turn it into like little packs, and then dehydrate those packs. So.
Awesome. And I would, of course, use some of the pepper. We all know which pepper it is, right, Dunnan?
The best kind that burns twice.
Exactly.
You have little beef stew MREs that you can make.
Yum. I'm gonna put it on my sheet just like that.
Yep.
How many of them?
You have the supplies to be able to make 30.
Perfect. Thanks, boss.
Yep. It'll take you a full day's worth of work, like just doing that, nothing else, to be able to prepare everything before the meat spoils, but you do have the ability to do so.
Yeah. I suppose I could just branch off from the party and do it.
Yeah.
If that's fine.
Or assign one of your numbers.
No, that's an excellent point. I could set the numbers to it. Number 2, she's excellent at cooking. She had to take over duties when.
So does that mean that Willem actually has to go home now?
Shh. So I guess I will pick up some bacon and head home to everybody. Well, we have to do something with this, and I can have number 2 cook up the meal, but I'll have to make a quick run home to do it. So I'm going to buy some bacon and head home. But I'll be back as soon as possible, okay?
Oh, we'll be at Pukas in the evening, so if you feel like company, join us in the Federican Inn.
Yeah, my father is quite good with the blade. I can explain what happened. Perhaps Da will have a good idea of who to speak to as well.
Let's not explain the exact details with your family. We don't want information to... We don't want us to be the ones that are spreading information.
Yes, of course.
Better keep it to a minimum, while the investigation is still ongoing.
He was once, much as we are, an adventurer. Perhaps he would be good to draw knowledge from, though. He does give excellent advice.
Well, I have met your mother, and meeting your father and the numbers. That'd be rather nice.
Yes, well, you are welcome to come along.
By the way, which number are you, Willem? Before
Of course I am.
has a number.
I don't have a number. I am Willem,
Oh,
though you would refer to me as the first. The
the
namesake.
one.
I am. My father is Willem. I am Willem. The rest are rather numbers.
You have to tell
Someday.
us the whole story at someday.
It's a whole gaggle of children.
But still, they're your siblings. Shouldn't you name them?
Well, my parents did. I just don't use their names.
Ah,
I'm surprised your parents have time for anything else.
With the amber braids.
The only thing I can think of when the first kid gets the name and everyone else gets a number.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just some sibling rivalry there.
Yeah, when it's numbers, it doesn't violate one-child policy.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So Willem, you're going to drop off the meat. I mean, you're not far from home. A 10-minute detour, you're able to do that if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make a quick run over and back.
Tomorrow evening, and then the group's headed to Amber Braids. Do you have anything else in the Market March?
I would like to see if there are any stalls that are selling knives and such.
Sure. Taking a glance around, there is one stall that's selling gear. Not just knives. It looks like it's being operated by one of the members of the Gnome Depot salespeople that supplies from the warehouse, working for ODMC. They're selling some accoutrement of non-metallic pieces of gear, things like traveling leathers, basic armor, and an assortment of short swords and daggers. So some stuff that seems like it probably would do better in a different locale where people don't already have weapons of their own.
Right.
The person with whom you speak is a rather short and portly dwarf. Short even for a dwarf. But quite rotund as they're sort of bustling around, sort of sidling a little bit.
Oh, that's an excellent selection there. We have... Fine. Okay, bye. Yes, sir,
As he finally glances at you,
how can I assist you?
Hey, I was wondering if you had any flaying knives.
Not the best for practicing, what I would recommend. We do have quite a varied selection. What size were you looking for?
Anything that would be a good pick to cut open a decent sized fish.
Oh, I mean,
he picks up a short sword.
you would have to apply the correct edge for it, but quite good at chopping a fish in half. How old is your child, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't have any children.
Oh. My apologies, I misunderstood.
Oh, no.
We
I
sell supplies for you to assist in practicing and training your children to defend themselves. We have blunted short swords, daggers. We can match any size of the leathers to them so that they can get a feeling for having a little bit of weight on them. Of course, everything is fairly safe, even as he picks up one of the short swords and sort of jabs the tip of it into his palm. Quite safe. Quite safe.
Sort of wiggles his hand a little bit.
No skin broken. Still hurts a little. But don't aim at eyes.
Alright. Well, I apologize for any confusion. Thank you. And I'll drop a silver piece onto the stall.
Picks it up and looks at it.
Thank you, sir.
And sort of tucks it into like a little placard pocket. Pats it.
Is there anything else I can do for you then?
No. Thank you.
No, you're very welcome.
When we leave, I'll just give Aeolus a puzzled look.
Hillarast is going to look for... Hillarast is going to look to see if any of the stalls do sell pen and ink and paper before she heads to the bookstore. It's a little out of the way. Is there anything there?
You're going to the Mythsmith?
Yes.
Or you're looking for like pen and ink like in the Market March? I just want to be...
Pen and ink in the Market March, just in case somebody has that. If not...
Got it, okay. I pull up my list. There is one vendor that's selling writing implements, and parchment. Immediately you see the prices are a little bit high. But they do have a collection of different inks, blues and blacks, that they're take great care in showing you, like glass blown ink vials and things of that sort. And they have all of the parchments stored in rolls.
How many yards would you like?
And everything's sold by length.
Only need to make a small book to fit into my pouch, so just 1 yard.
I do have blank books if you would prefer journals and like.
What do you have? I need just something very small. Do you have anything for about 2 or 3 silver?
supply you with what you seek. Skills of bookbinding are difficult and time-consuming, and craftsmen need to be paid for their works.
Okay, so just how much is a yard of your lowest quality parchment?
A yard of the parchment would be 10 silver pieces.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go back to my house and see if I can't find something that work for me. If not, I'll be back.
Of course.
And she'll put down 1 piece of silver as well for his time.
Thank you kindly, madam. You're a credit to your people.
Okay. And did you still want to go to Mythsmith as well?
Yes.
Okay. So that's on the way back to the bridge past the Choral Run. If you guys are all stopping at Mythsmith first.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Mythsmith is a fairly cozy looking shop. Double doors wide open at the moment. And it's stacks upon stacks upon stacks of bookcases of decent height. Go up about 10 feet each of them. Floor to ceiling. And there's a large sign set into a stone that sort of splits any traffic flowing into the shop itself. And the sign says, "Pay the cost of your selections in coin as marked at the counter. No change given, and the next tale be even better than the last." There is no person that staffs this storefront. There's a large stone countertop, nearly more than 5 feet wide or deep to the left of the entryway as you walk in, with a slot in the top of it, about 8 inches long and less than an inch wide, for you to add coins as payment for any books that you select. Going through the stacks, the books themselves are organized by topic. The back wall is a collection of blank journals, and working forward, you find books of fanciful delights, epics of courageous heroes, documents on soil conditions, farming, like sort of your farmer's almanac style books, things concerning the passage of the heavens and the stars, ways of predicting prophecy, books of potential names for any children if you're expecting. There's all manner of things. And then on the highmost shelves, a few fairly sultry titles concerning things that are best left out of reach of those with smaller stature.
Do they have any pens and ink?
They do not. They do have blank journals.
Blank. Okay.
Yeah.
She'll pick out...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, she'll pick out the smallest, thinnest journal of parchment that fairly resembles the parchment that we found.
Okay. As you're passing through, none of the parchment seems to quite match. You get one that looks like a similar color match, and the texture feels close, but not the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 3 inches in height, 2 inches in width, and a half inch in depth, like in thickness. So it's quite small. And this itself is 5 silver.
5 silver. Okay.
It has a little tag hanging on it. But you pick it up off the shelf. There's like 3 other patrons in the shop at the moment, just perusing the stacks.
Siegfried would like to look for a book as well.
What are you looking for, Siegfried?
Anything that potentially could have information on the ancient history of Elderthorn.
Okay.
Like what may have been here before. Maybe accounts from the first settlers that came here.
Of course. Give me an investigation check, please.
Okay.
Hellerast has an idea. She'd also like to look to see if there are any books that aren't in common that may have these same characters incorporated. So books from foreign locales. Or books on esoteric magic.
Yeah, I don't think I find it.
One moment, please. There we go. Siegfried, no such luck. You have an idea of what to look for, but you know the title of the book. It's the same one that you saw that stuck in your head that Lander had, but you do not find another copy at the moment.
Can I inquire with the seller?
What seller?
Oh yeah, this place is automated. I forgot about that. There is no one at the
Operates
desk.
on honor system.
Yeah.
Hellrest, you're looking for. Pardon me. You're rolling investigation check for which?
To see if there are any books there from foreign lands or in the magical category that may have characters that resemble this. These land notes.
As you peruse through, there's a few tomes that you find that speak of like what to do when your child starts exhibiting magical characteristics. A lot of it has to do with more like advice style, like teaching your little sorcerer for dummies type of thing. And how to keep your budding wizard from hurting themselves or burning down your home. But as you sort of flip through, you do not recognize any of the characters in any of the books.
And there's no
about a half dozen books that you find that have something to do with magic or sound like they might. You don't see anything.
What about cryptography?
There is a set of books on cryptography. There's a 2-book volume that you find with that check. AOS roll me an investigation check. The cryptography speaks of rudimentary substitution ciphers, going in depth to alternative ways to do that. It talks about using a specific book as a key to understanding how something's phrased, like you would need a specific page, like if it's a number cipher. It looks like it's a fairly deep and interesting read as you're just sort of glancing through it. Has a lot of info.
How much?
The 2-tome set would be 10 silver.
10 silver. She drops it. She puts the little parchment book back and drops everything onto those 2 books.
Okay. So 10 silver, and then you're putting 10 silver into the little box. The stone box. So one by one, the coins tink, tink, tink into some internal compartment. Nothing happens. You put the coin in there. You have the books. They're yours.
Okay. She'll tuck them away. And then, who's holding the parchment? Is it Dunnan? Who's holding Lander's notes?
The one with the strange writings?
Yes.
No one's holding it. It is back at Aeolus's house.
Okay. So she'd like to go make a copy of it so that she can, when she has time, she's going to just try to see if she can figure out what kind of substitutions this might. She's just going to try to translate it from scratch.
That's the title of the volumes.
Okay. So she's just going to see if she can figure it out, because she remembered seeing repeated characters together different things. And it definitely looks just like a simple alphabet, just trying to figure out what it actually is saying is something that she wants to try to figure out.
Okay. Aeolus, there's a lot of books on herbalism and the flora of the Elderthorn area, Aquan in general, and of the very climates that Aquan experiences. There's generally notes of in these encyclopedia of flora of medicinal uses of some of the plants that you find, if they have a known medicinal use. There's not a treatise on specific medicinal plants. It seems like it's more of identify the plant, determine if it has a use, and identify this plant. Nope, no use listed. But still, that way you know what the plant is.
Okay. Aeolus will pick up a couple of books on it.
Okay. These, with the amount of research that's going into them, the one treatise that you pick up, like this encyclopedia style, encompasses Elderthorn, the mountain ranges to the west, and the logging biomes up north. And it is 20 silver. A little tag hanging on it, handwritten.
All right. Aeolus will put it back on the shelf, and and he'll turn to Helleraston. Yeah, before we meet up at the Faded Gate, I can bring you the Pander's notes.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I just want to make a copy so that we don't lose the original or do anything to destroy any of the evidence on it. But definitely want to see if I can figure out what that thing says.
Of course. Shall we head off to the Ember Braids?
Sure.
What exactly are we trying to ask the Ember Braids?
Well, I know that someone else wanted to stop there. I think it was Willem, and then possibly they may have sold off a blade or two of interest, and I have a few questions for them myself.
Right.
But if the rest of the group wants to head to the Faded Gate to locate our absentee twins, or try to find if anyone else has seen them, to continue the investigation.
You mean the two that Lander was going to hire?
Right. Maybe he was going to hire and they had something to do with his end.
Mm. Well, I can go and do that if you want. Where is Jack, by the way? He's been away for some time.
Not seen him in the better part of a day and a half. Essentially, since the group got accused of that killing, Jack's been gone.
Well, no matter. It wouldn't be of help anyway, so... Alright, so I go to the Feder Gate, and you go to the Amber Braids, and we'll meet up at Bukas at the Feder Gate.
Who wants to come to the Amber Braids and who wants to help? Tannen.
I can come with you to the Amber Braids.
I'll go to the Amber Braids.
Oh, then if Eliras is going, I'll just hang out with Dunnan then.
Sounds good. So the two of you head to speak with Andre. The rest of you head to Buka's at the Faded Gate. So we'll do Andre's first. It's late afternoon by this point. You've been about talking to everybody close to 4 p.m., approaching early evening, when you poke your head in the door to Andre quietly working on polishing some of the pieces that they have on display. More costly things available for purchase. Hi, how you doing? What you been up to? Hopefully not getting any of your spears damaged like that.
Yeah, no.
Is this watch business, this... No? Alright, good. What can I do for you?
We have a couple questions. Have you any records of selling a blade for flaying fish open?
Not by itself, no. People usually buy kits. We have hooks, the whole shebang. But you can't cut a fish with just one knife. You need a few different things. Break through the bone, take out the scales. A lot of things. No, not recently. I mean, there's other knives that you could do if you needed to just cut a fish open. But
how about if you're cutting open something else, like an animal?
Yeah, an animal. I mean, yeah, we sell hunting gear. If you need to skin an animal, we could do that. You can usually get by with a field knife, but we do have some specialized tools for it. Working on bone, protect the hide, especially if you're planning to use it for something.
Okay.
Are you starting a hunting trip?
Perhaps. I also have a couple questions on... So, you work with smithing blades and the like. Do you also construct the sheaths and the housing for certain blades?
Oh, yeah, well, one of the family does. Bogram usually manages that. Although he got a job up at the lumber mill, for the summer season, so he's up there now. Hopefully, selecting some good woods for us. Marking it before it comes down the river. You see, shrewd mind for the business. Every now and then, Emil's got. So he got a job up there. Got away from the family for a little bit, but he's still helping us out. But Bogram usually carves the sheaths. We use good wood, core wood. Impregnate it with some natural resins. We usually boil down some rabbit. For it tends to last for quite a number of years without needing to be dealt with. Waterproofed. Quite comfortable. And here's the nice part. If you keep your weapon secured, it floats.
Oh. Have you worked with any other material than wood?
I know he's tried to do some scrimshaw in the past, but getting bones the right size to be able to store anything more than a dagger is not practical. Good for hilts, though.
Aeolus is gonna pull out the one of the longer legs and one of the shorter legs off the needle monster. Are you able to construct a sheath or hilt out of these?
I have to take a look at them. Let me get back to you on it. I need to. Bogram's not here at the moment. He'd be the person. But I can take a stab at it. Makes a stabbing motion.
Yes. And he'll hand him the shorter one. If you're able to, and then once the summer season is over, I would like to commission a piece.
I mean, Bogram won't be home until late fall. That's when they stop. Once they get their first frost up there, becomes unsafe on the hills at that point, from what I understand. But he's not going to be back for a while. If you need to commission a piece from him, you need to go talk with him.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks. What do you have as far as long swords?
I got a few options. It starts showing you around. He's got a selection of long swords, hand and half swords, falchion style, where there's a flatted back to it. He's a much better if you're finding yourself in the woods. You said you were planning on a hunting trip. Good in a pinch if you find yourself without a flint. You can still use the backside of the blade. Although I generally recommend making sure that you're doing the parries with the flat of it. Don't parry on the edge. Normal things. But you can catch on the back of the blade fairly safely with this as well, since it's wider tang. And he shows you a selection of the blades.
Okay. How much for a hand and a half sword or a long sword, like a falchion style?
So, one moment, please.
Plus, I see that the katanas are 40 gold pieces, and I don't have that much yet.
Might be. It's okay if it's a little out of your price range. But he pulls one of these. It's hand and a half. That's got the flatted back as he was describing. Good for hunting. By itself, it'd run you 130 silver. If you wanted the rest of the hunting kit with it, up to 150.
Okay,
we only got one kit left though. We did sell out a few days ago. And that way you'd be able to butcher any meat you came across, cook it in the wild. We have a flint in there as well. It does come with some butcher's twine to be able to bound up any meat you find, but you need to get some leathers to wrap it in. But you'd have a selection of butchering knives, some to cut the hides off, hopefully maybe earn a little bit of your money back, sell them down to the tanners.
And you said that you sold a kit recently?
Oh, a few of them. A couple of knife eaters came through. They were asking about the pinwood and stuff like that, and they went to buy some hunting gear. Told them it's not a good hunt. None of the meat's ain't good anyway. It's dangerous to consume. I mean, you've told me more stories than I want to know about the blood of those monsters. But everyone knows you don't eat anything from the pinwood. Dangerous. Spirits don't like it. But I'm not gonna pass up a big sale. They paid nearly 500 silver.
How long ago was this?
6 days? 7 days ago? They crossbows, bolts, knives, bone saws, everything you need for butchering even big game like a bear. I mean, they even picked up some of them. He gestures at a couple of the swords that you were looking at. Nothing quite like the one you have. They had a different choice selection, but still good. Lighter weight for traveling, I suspect. But yeah, it was good sale. I'm not gonna pass it up. I told them don't go into the pinwood. Speak with one of the farmers, travel north. Maybe go hunt around the logging camps, but I don't know.
Was it a pair of half-elves?
Oh, yeah, it was. Filthy knife ears.
Aeolus will just turn to Hellerast. Well, thank you. Do you have any more information on the both of them?
And paid well. They were curt. Didn't get their names. But they were nice about it. Bought some rations from Gogran, I think, but that was it. They already had them when I spoke with them. And the packs are ready to go. I helped them load it up, and they were gone.
Right, well,
Didn't have horses. Strange. I mean, if you butcher a bear, you probably want a horse or at least a donkey to be able to bring back that much meat. I mean, it's also pinwood meat, so maybe you don't want that horse to bring it back.
Maybe.
He just starts speaking to himself, back and forth. He seems perturbed by the fact that these individuals were talking about hunting in the pinwood.
I am too. Alright. I'm gonna thank Amber Braid for his time. And Hellerast, do we have anything else, or should we go meet up with the others?
I think we just need to meet up with the others and let them know what we found out before we decide to do anything else. I also want to talk to Gogron, but that's right across the street. If they got rations, then I talk to him.
If you be wanting the blade, let me know. We got it here. Not that one, right. But Emil usually keeps at least one in supply.
I will definitely be packed a little out of my price range at the moment, but I'll be back with the right amount.
Curse. Pleasure to speak with you. Two of you head out. Hello, you said you want to speak with Gogron?
Yeah, absolutely.
You push into your cousin's shop. The hulking orcish figure of Gogron seated there, currently slathering some honey on a piece of dense bread, and there's mid-bite as you come in. Oh, hello.
Hey, Gogron. How's it going?
Holds up a finger and grabs a stein and takes a few quick drafts. Oh. Oh. Good.
I wanted to thank you for your support. You knew that we didn't do this terrible murder. So I wanted to thank you for never suspecting us for a moment. I also have a couple of questions for you about somebody that we have.
Sort of glances around. Even if you did do it, I wouldn't say. So it gives you a wink.
No, we've heard some talk about some people. Aeolus, do you want to ask the questions?
I mean,
There were a couple of people who came in a few days ago to buy rations, and we want to know a little bit more about them. Half-elves, did you say?
yeah, a set of twins.
Do you remember them?
I do. They purchased... Goes over to a ledger and starts turning pages up. They purchased 5 days worth of rations for each of them. Backpacks and a few other bits of gear. Candles, fire starters. No bedrolls, curiously. But I figured they're elves. They don't need to sleep, right?
Not too much. Did they say anything about what they were doing or where they were going, or did you, in your wonderful fashion, not ask?
The latter.
Okay, did you notice anything else about them?
They could not be going far with the rations they purchased. Any trips you go from here are at least a few days' travel, even to the mines.
Did they mention anything about the pinwood?
They asked about it, if there were any rumors. I told them it's a dangerous place filled with weird, twisted animals. Not a safe spot to voyage or picnic. And most people rightfully stay away from it. And that was all.
Sounds like a place I would definitely head to if I didn't want anyone to follow me.
Yeah.
He takes another bite of his bread. If you don't be followed, yeah. Brushes some crumbs away. Yep, not being followed. Privacy is good. Takes another gulp. Oh. I mean, you can get privacy in a lot of directions from here.
That's true. Okay. If you think of anything else that they may have said or that you noticed, we're just going to be across the street. Let me know. Thank you, dear.
Can you turn the sign on your way out? I'm done for the day.
Sure thing.
I have one piece of business for you.
Yes.
I would like to buy 2 lengths of rope.
Certainly. They're there. And then let me grab my cost chart for that. Programs.
They're each 1 gold piece.
Yep, 10 silver piece.
Yep. Aeolus will drop the 20 silver down.
Thank you. And they're coiled in such a way that there's a half twist in them, and then they're wrapped, so they look like a figure 8 with the middle wrapped up as a bundle. Quite easy to transport.
Okay. As we head out, I'll turn to Hellerest. Did you want to stop by before or after we meet with the others? It's up towards the northern part of Elderthorn.
No, we can just go now. Let's go meet up. I don't really do anything else without talking to everybody.
Okay.
Mhm.
So then we head to the Fated Gate.
Right, across the way. In the meantime, the rest of you have gone directly to the Fated Gate. Mid to late afternoon. It's a little bit quiet, but it's starting to fill in. Is there anything here particular that you wanted to do prior to your companions arriving?
I talked to Buka. Yeah, that was the intention.
No.
So,
Ik got me in a good
Just-
mood. What'll be done?
well, you know me, so the usual. And for you, Siegfried?
Right now, it's pork and mushrooms. And
Sounds
meat.
lovely. And some ale to go down with that. And Buka, your ear. If
Sorry, I think my
possible.
mic was messed up, but yeah, I would be fine with that.
I don't think you can afford my ear, my dear. Or any other part of me.
True. Well, but if you would be so kind, it would help me tremendously. Just some information, not more.
What's going on?
Well, you know, I proclaimed that I'm gonna solve this Lander murder case.
Yeah, how's that going?
Well, you're running around some circles in town, but not many to go on for now. But we found out that
in front of you.
we found out that Lander was about to hire some people to help him, and particularly two half-elfen twins. You might not have seen them around, maybe?
Twins, haven't seen any twins about recently. Only twins I know in town are scant more than a year old.
Didn't come by. That's too bad. It was the most likely lead for now.
That's a little odd, though, isn't it, Buka? Everyone usually ends up at the Fated Gate at some point.
I know. Why do you think
Well, they were.
maintain
they
such
were-
a large establishment?
But we were told they were travelers, so they don't have a place to stay here. So, I mean, it's natural that they would come by and book a room, right?
Unless they knew someone else in town that they were staying with. Yeah. I have rooms. I always have rooms.
Mhm.
If I
If
need to,
someone
I
was-
could probably get probably a third of the town in here. Squeezed. But sheltered.
Yeah, that's a pretty funny picture you're drawing there. I'd like to see that.
I wouldn't. It's a little bit too many people.
It's too bad. I was sure you would know something.
I know many things. But not if they don't come into my... She looks over to the rest of you. Food for the two of you as well? Siegfried and Will.
Yes, please. Thank you, Buka.
Of course.
Hopefully the others find out more about those two twins.
Was I able to take care of what I needed to for the food with my family and all that?
Yes, you were.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm assuming before anyone rushed off, you just dropped it off, passed along the message.
All right, perfect.
Welcome back, Willem.
While he's waiting for the food, would Sigrid know like other places people might board when they're in town?
You would know that there's not really any other inns in town.
Yeah.
You guys are on the map right now. Buka owns all 4 of the buildings to the left of Alpha. Yeah. They're all part of
housing.
This place. Let me grab the details. Give me a history check while I'm pulling this up.
You're welcome. Warms me. And Willem would give the half hug.
Oh, you're starting to crow on me, and I pat him on the shoulder.
The Faded Gate is a collection of buildings that were at one point individual homes, and then over decades they were acquired by purchases, marriages, and inheritance within a single family. The inheritor is now Buka. And there's some rumor from the significantly older generation of there's a lot of coincidences in the acquisition of these structures, but that's it. The buildings now, which share walls, they now all have been renovated from the interior. From the exterior, they look like individual homes, but from the interior, there are one single structure of row homes. And there's about 50 different rooms that can support individual guests. They have the area in which you are currently, the large mead hall, but can be used to host gatherings and the like, in addition to being a common room where people can sleep on the floor if they can't afford a room. But if you fit more than one person in a room, you can fit a lot of people in here. Several hundred, easily. It's a popular waypoint for any adventurers that arrive in Elderthorn that are headed towards the mountains and the lands beyond, or anyone stopping through Elderthorn on journeys north and then east to Armskirk over land travel, which is dangerous in its own right because you have to foray with the wandering hordes and tribes that are native to Quan and less identified as Drusians and more as natives to Quan. That can be very dangerous for people, so that's a less common travel. Most people in the adventurer's style of business, looking to plunder or find wealth in frontiers, try to travel across the mountains, which makes Elderthorn a good port of call for them. Arrive here, stay, supply, travel west. But it's a lot of space, and it's hard to compete with that.
Have Aeolus and I shown up yet?
About the time that the rest of the group gets their food, then yes.
I would also just ask Buka, you sure they wouldn't have been able to get a room under disguise? Maybe 2 people that looked similar, but maybe not identical?
I know the faces of everyone that comes in here. Even when they try to look different. You said half-elves, yes?
Yes, done in as far as I know, right?
Yeah, correct. Half-elves. Twins.
And they would have arrived within the last 2 weeks, right?
Based on the information you got at the docks, the ship came in 8 days ago. 7 days ago is when they were not helping with the ship.
Yeah, and I would also give the name of the ship to Buka as well. When on this ship.
The murder happened 2 days ago?
No, the murder happened 5 days ago.
5, okay.
Because it was the evening that the group of you set
out. Yeah, right.
Actually, at this point, it'd be 6 days ago. My apologies, because you guys rested here in Elderthorn.
All right. Okay.
2 days to the one night on the way to the mines, night at the mines. So that's 3 days, and then a night on the way back, 4 days. Getting back here 5 days, and then sleeping. So this is the 6th day since the murder, which was the 6th day since you set out. 7th day since 8th day since the ship arrived. So 8 days ago ship, 7 days ago half-elves are not helping with the ship. 5 days ago, you guys set out, and that evening, Lander was found.
So Hellerast hears this and wonders if there's any families or households of half-elves anywhere around here. Wondering if maybe they hold up with their kind and not as travelers.
Too many. She gestures at Willem. Your family is of the kinfolk, but other than that, not too many else in town.
Yeah, and I don't think we've had any visitors recently.
I mean, to your point, Hellerast, they're half elves. Their kin could easily be humans as well.
This is true.
By the way, Puka, have you seen Wes Hallam lately?
A butcher's boy, right? No.
Alright, he was supposed to meet us here.
No, haven't seen him. Doesn't usually stop by anyway. Unless his father's here drunk, but he's not here yet, drunk yet.
He hasn't been here today. Okay, alright. Maybe he will come. Oh, so what did you both find out, Hellerast and Eolus? Anything of worth?
We found out that the twins we are looking for purchased a whole bunch of hunting supplies and went into the Pinwood with only a few days worth of rations.
Well, they haven't been staying here, so... You guessing they're staying out in the Pinwood? It's dangerous business. I mean,
It is.
You have been there, so... But, if you wanna... I don't know... hide from a murder, it's the perfect place, because nobody's coming looking for you there. Or at least not many people.
That's what my thought was.
I know it's a large place, but maybe we could do a scouting mission and see if we find any tracks or anything unusual.
Yeah, because if there's anybody stupid enough to go into the Pinwood again, it's us.
Right, yeah.
We are the
don't
bloody mad
remind me.
dogs.
Yeah, that's right. Woo, woo.
Before we leave, though, I think we need to find Wes right away.
I agree. The fact that no one has seen him is a little worrisome.
I mean, if we can confirm that he saw like 2 people running away from the crime scene, it would confirm our theory that it might be those twins.
And if we're not able to find him and he was the one that found Lander, then someone knows that he may know
we need
something.
to go to their house right now, Aeolus.
Yeah.
To whom? To the butchers again?
Not to the store, to their house right now.
I mean, there is also... Who was on guard to them? I mean, he was killed in right of the cathedral. What's it?
Died in front of the
cathedral. Yeah, right in front of cathedral. So, I mean, there must be guards posted.
So, just as a refresher, Wes found him stumbling around, collapsing to the ground as he was trying to hold in his guts. He died in the square. Wes didn't witness anything based on the stories, based on what's been reported to you, which was reported by the Blackburn.
Ah, so he wasn't dead when Wes found him.
No, he was.
He was about to.
Wes went to go and get help, people capable of healing him, or attempting to heal him, and by the time the watch returned, he had expired.
And according to Arvier, at least, unless he was lying to me, he was the one on watch at the time.
Arvier was the lieutenant that was on watch at the time.
The lieutenant, yeah.
So he must know who
responded.
Guards, which guards were on duty.
Yes,
at the time.
That reminds me.
I sort of just like look at Aeolus awkwardly, and he's like, I think Arvier is going to be a little busy today, but maybe we should ask him eventually.
Dungeon Master, wasn't it
What's that?
tonight that the group of us were supposed to eat at
Oh, right
Blackburn?
at the dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Aeolus is gonna stand up and go, speaking of the Blackburn Watch, we need to go for our we need to leave. Now.
What?
Come on,
What?
come on.
I
John, come on,
just
here.
had 1 ale. What?
Yeah,
the hell?
no.
Oh,
Let's go.
Move. On the march, Dunnan.
Sorry, Puka.
Here, I give Dunnan here 10 gold for your next ale. Come on.
10
let's
gold?
do-
And
No,
I'm
10
rich.
silver. 10 silver for your next ale.
100 silver
And then
pieces
push it
here.
out the door. Push it
I'll
out the
take
door.
any.
as you reach out to pass the money to Dunnan, Buka's hand snatches it out. That'll pay for his
Okay.
meal.
All right,
What?
let's go.
Oh, great.
Here, let's go. Come on, and we go. I literally pick up Willem, like carry him like a football.
Oh man, I'm so happy I remembered. Holy shit. Alright, run.
Totally forgot that. It's not in my notes. Shit.
There's the handout.
I'm miscontent with it. He takes the ride. Except at one point he would say, I do have my own legs, you realize.
It's all right, but I know you like to ask a lot of questions before we move, so I figured you could ask questions while being carried.
But as you guys are running out, Buka reminds you, the Rolars, they're also half elves.
Rollers?
Rolar, yeah.
Okay.
We got one couple leads, but let's back to the watch.
If Wes comes by, tell him we're gonna come by tomorrow by the shop of his father. He has to be there. Thank you, Puka.
She's tending to another patron. Bye. Come back and spend more money.
Hey.
Alright, so rushing to Blackburn Keep.
Yes.
Apparently, yes.
Okay, sounds good. As you get there, all of you are allowed in, as you were invited. And there's a small company of about a dozen individuals seated at a table with enough spots. Some people are still working on preparing everything. Seems like you're not late, even though some of you have eaten food already.
I always have room for more.
Seated at the table, there is Lieutenant Arvier. There is Captain Brath Storm Surge. There is Mayor Tidell. There is a Tabaxi, whom the group of you do not recognize. There is... one moment. And there are a few members of the Blackburn Watch themselves, which you recognize as at your rank, Aeolus. They are vowed, but they're not lieutenants. They've not been elevated in rank since then. So,
Hopefully we're not late.
No, I'm just in time. Welcome. Come on, sit in.
Captain?
There's
Mayor, nice to see you again.
no sight of the bat, right?
There's not, no.
Shit.
I shift my eyes over to Siegfried and squint slightly as like a
And Siegfried just kind of like slowly turns his head over to Aeolus and then just turns it back straight ahead at attention. And then goes and finds a seat.
Are you still holding Willem?
No, I put Willem down and get him settled before I sit down.
As the group of you sort of settle in, Storm Surge, let me introduce the dining party that will be staying with us. This is Sidar. He gestures to the tabaxi, who has sort of a very traveler monkish look about him. Does not look like a member of the Blackburn Watch whatsoever. A little bit of a portly belly, not much. Who gives you a faint smile and sort of a fan of their fingers before. Nothing else. You know Mary Trudell already. She's deigned to join us for the evening, at my request. This is Lieutenant Arvir. Most of you have met under varying circumstances. To his left is Lieutenant Lori Kinney Singleton. She goes by Lori, as he gestures to a smaller gnomish woman. That looks like she could probably bench press Siegfried. Across from her, you'll notice. Pardon me. And this is Dr. T-Dance from Armskirk. She has saw fit to join us. I've contracted her service. The rest of you, I'm sorry, this is somewhat official business. Please find your ways to other tables. And you see some of the other members of the avowed part of the watch stand up from sitting with the brass, which is usually a good way to try to ingratiate yourselves to take a lieutenant position once one opens up, to go sit at other tables. Some begrudgingly, some maybe in a sigh of relief. Here's what Rowan T-Dance looks like. She's a halfling. And Sidar. Did the Sidar handout pop up? Or no?
And not.
Everyone looks so cool. I love Storm Surge's arc, especially.
There we go. There's Sidar.
And T-Dance is Nara's physician, right?
She is a physician. Yeah.
She is, but not Nara's physician.
He is the one that was assigned to the mayor's daughter.
Please be seated. We'll be dining shortly. We have a delightful roast wrapped in pastry. Hopefully it came out good. Tidell helped me prepare it. Excuse me, let me check on the cooks.
Before Danan sits down, he will introduce himself once more to the people they don't know. I'll say, my name's Danan Firebeard. Pleasure to meet you. Mayor. He nods to Mayor Tadell.
Here's the handout for Tidell, just as a refresher. Pleasure to see you again, Danan. How is after introductions have been had? How is everything going?
Well, Elolas, do you wanna?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, how's your daughter holding up?
She's Froen cuts across. She's as good as could be expected, but she's been on the mend for a little over a few weeks now.
hopefully we'll be back on our feet in about soon.
Oh, it's fantastic to hear.
I mean, the grief's not good, but
Can definitely be a motivator at the very least.
maybe a silver lining. Tidell holds up and it's what it is.
But as far as our investigation, we have a possible lead, and it may need to take us into the Inwood.
While Aeolus is explaining, I'll intently look at Avir. Does he react in any way?
Make me an insight check.
Siegfried would also look at the mayor, towards the mayor. Has anyone in here seen the butcher's son Wes recently? I just have a bad feeling.
No, I've not. Is he in trouble of some sort? Arya
No,
chimes in. Last I saw him was when he fetched me and the response garrison, when we find Lander.
it's just I don't mean to jump to conclusions, but he didn't seem to show up to work today, and I don't know. He was the only one he found Lander. I don't know. And Siegfried goes quiet.
He was the last one to see Lander alive. Perhaps Lander spoke some info of who did this to him, and Wes, in a fright, didn't mention it or didn't receive it. But whoever did this to Lander may be looking to close off any loose ends.
We're worried about his safety
Of course.
at the very bottom of it.
At this point, Storm Surge has returned at the head of the table. They'll have it out in a moment. Wine, mead. As he starts passing around a carafe. Help yourselves, we have plenty.
I pour Dunnan a glass of each and put it in front of him.
Why choose?
That's how I like it.
Aeolus is going to take out a piece of parchment and is going to sketch out one or two of the symbols from the note, and it's just going to keep it on him.
Okay. You're doing that outside of line of sight of anybody?
No, like I'm just gonna take a piece of parchment out and put it down, and then just draw the symbols on the parchment, and I would like to scan to see if anyone's paying attention.
Sure.
To this.
Okay. And then, well, the behavior is out of character, in general, like for sitting and eating dinner. So everyone's sort of watching. Lori, what are you doing? Dunnan, that insight check. Arthur doesn't seem, like he's hiding anything.
Unfazed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lori's the first one to speak up as you're doing this, though, Aeolus.
What you got?
We
She leans down past Froen.
came across a weird symbol while we were out and about. and I just wanted to write it down before I forgot.
Oh, cool.
Know it by chance?
Can I?
She asks for the
Sure.
parchment. Takes a good look at it for a moment.
Doesn't look familiar to me.
She starts passing it around the table to Arvir, and then it goes past one of you sitting next to Arvir, and then to Cedar, and then to Del. You get shrugs, like weird glances at it. People trying to rack their brains. You're not sure what languages all of these individuals speak or know, but as you go through, you don't really get any positive feedback.
Does the mayor or tea dance give off any signs of recognition?
Give me an insight check.
I would like to roll on as well.
Okay.
Natural one.
Okay. They don't seem to be overly intrigued by it beyond just the fanciful thing. Sidar will be the first one that speaks up as it gets passed around, eventually making its way back to you. I'm gonna drop a snip in chat so you guys have an idea of like the table setup, roughly. As well. I'll put in campfire. To give an idea of like seating, so to speak, with your tokens included.
Okay.
Sidar will speak though and say,
This is a strange symbol. Where did you come by it?
it's already been passed around past Storm Surge. Never seen it before. Looks cool though.
It was it's part of a investigation at the moment. I will give more information once I have more solid leads. I don't want to spread any ill rumors. High apologies.
But any insight would be greatly appreciated. Could help us further the investigation.
The Cedar mentions,
I don't know where I've seen it before. It seems familiar, but I couldn't tell you anything beyond that. I feel like I've known it from something. Maybe a book or I'm not sure.
Would it have anything to do with the ancient history of this land?
Not my speciality, but I know some stories.
he starts speaking of rumors. Everything's shrouded in uncertainty. Of a group that used to live along the coast and in the Pinwood and give offerings to the great spirits and I'd like all of you to give me an insight check, please.
That's a hell of an insight check.
Yep. And then Willem. You there, Willem? You might be worse than a keyboard. I'm gonna grab a sheet. There we go. Insight.
20.
12.
Oh, shit.
Alright, so, Dun and Siegfried, partway through the tale, you get the idea. He might have like 2-3 sentences of history that he vaguely knows that he's spinning into this, like, grandiose tale. He's a storyteller. And he's very good at telling a fish tale, like a fish story. It is what it is. Partway through, though, maybe to your relief, plates are starting to be set in front of you with this beautiful, like, puff pastry, almost like Wellington-style cut of meat that's been sliced. A set of potatoes with a beautiful-looking brown gravy drizzled over them, and a side of, like, leafy greens that have a speckling of something that looks like maybe bacon incorporated into them, like collard greens and bacon. Finally, been starving.
Using this lull in the conversation, I would change over to Arvir and I would ask, has anyone been able to be in contact with the bat? I still would like to make my report.
One moment. Storm Surge. Yes? Of course. He takes out a small whistle from inside of his breastplate, blows it once, and pierces through the sound of the entire hall. As everyone looks up at the call of their captain, everyone not at this table, make yourselves scarce, or I'll find work for you. And there is a bustle of activity as the about 1.5 dozen other people that are far enough away to not intrude on the conversation that the captain and some of the brass are having with guests still leave. They leave full plates, they go. They are gone. Within about 2 minutes, the entire hall is empty other than the group of you.
Ever seen a hall empty out quicker at the offer of work?
Hey, extra work, end of the day, no one wants to do it. I was hoping to wait until after meals. It's a little bit unsavory, and why I have some members of the community here as well. He gestures to the mayor, T-Dance, and Cedar amongst the group of you. Arvir apprised me of your discovery of the interior of Bat's quarters. T-Dance has an independent confirmation. The remains contained inside those quarters are Bat. I have, and sort of looks towards T-Dance, confirm if I am incorrect. I don't know what caused such rapid decay of her body to be naught but bones in a matter of days since anyone had seen her last. Cedar,
works at the All Faith across Cathedral Square and is sometimes slightly more privy to prayers and conversations that people have with none but the spirits and their ancestors. So Cedar is here in the hopes that if he overhears something of interest, he knows of its import. This story is not to go beyond this table, Cedar. So the words directed towards the tabaxi. Entidel is here as a representative of Elderthorn beyond Blackburn.
Captain.
But that is not well. Not well. Not alive.
Do you think
Do you
those
know-
two cases are connected?
I mean,
Rory chimes
two,
in.
two deaths in
Yes,
span of a
many-
week.
In 2 deaths in a 10 days, bordering beyond coincidence. I've been looking into things. I've not found too much as of yet. But, Boonecraft corroborated all of your stories under sustained interview, and all of you have been sufficiently cleared, as she gestures towards the 5 of you. He confirmed that you did the job, that he spoke with Lander for about an hour, and by then the group of you had, to his best knowledge, left town, and then your cousin, as she tilts her head towards you, Hellerest, confirmed that as well, that you had stopped by, said you were leaving town, and then headed west. So, your party has been cleared fully of any wrongdoing. We can't abate rumors, but know that you'll face no repercussions of any sort from Blackburn. It's good. See, I tell you, we do job, we confirm you safe.
Well,
Thank you.
but still 2 people are dead. So, I'm
I,
not sure about the job thing.
I would like to ask the doctor. Do you know if she
Yeah.
was killed in the keep?
Looking at the remains, if no one had seen her recently, I would say she could have been dead for a year, based on that decomposition. It was bones. Like, there were some night crawlers and things in the dirt of that chest, but not enough to cause that degree of decomposition.
Were there any wounds or scrapes on the bones?
None that I could find. But she could have very easily died of similar circumstances. If we
Well,
discount the decay rate.
I'll turn to Arvier and Storm Surge. When was
Not
the
all
last
wounds
time?
that are fatal hurt bone. Say.
True. I'll ask the lieutenant and the captain. When was the last time anyone saw Bat? I mean, us cadets don't really see her that often.
Storm Surge has his mouth full of Wellington in the moment. And chokes it. Last I saw her was 10 day and a half ago. Maybe 16 days.
So she could have been killed quite a while ago.
Even that leans towards genus I've been told is an unprecedented rate. Arvier will chime in. I saw her last 8 days ago. She stopped in to get supplies. She said she was working on something big, and then left. Did not say on what.
That doesn't. That just leads to way more questions. Siegfried starts rubbing his out, but well, I guess I should report to you what I wanted to report to her. If that's all right, Aeolus.
That's fine.
I'll turn specifically to Dr. T-Dance, because she seems to be knowledgeable, at least in some magic. And whoever this is directed to people he thinks might have arcane knowledge, but that creature we fought in the woods near the mining camp. When it died, I cast the spell Detect Magic to see if I could figure something out, but when it was, I haven't been able to confirm since we only had this one creature, but when it was alive, it wasn't connected to the weave. It was only in death it became connected to magic again. I don't know what that means.
I heard Tadell chimes in before T-Dance can respond. I heard some of that tale through the grapevine. Would you mind recounting it? Don't want to get details wrong if I pass it along to someone else.
Yeah, Siegfried will tell her everything, and then he'll also... I don't know if it's connected to the bat either, but the creature, it decayed before our eyes. If it wasn't for Aeolus's skill with the hunting knife, we probably would have lost most of it, but also when it was decaying, there was no smell. It was odorless.
T-Dance sort of perks back into the story at this point. It seems like she zoned out while you were telling us part of the story so she could eat, and then hearing the rapid decay perks her ears back up. It didn't decay. It decayed fast. Sorry, it didn't smell.
No, and its eyes weren't like eyes. They were like glass balls.
How long did you stay there? Did it start smelling later?
Aeolus will reach beneath his coat and will pull out the shorter of the two legs.
Oh, my.
And will put it on the table.
Why? When we have food on table?
All it is just an exoskeleton. There's no meat left. I also have some more pieces for my own personal research.
Based on what we saw of its behavior, it seemed to hang out in the tree branches and put attack from above.
Lori will chime in. You have more of these?
I have a couple more pieces, as well as some fluid.
Fluid? What are you doing with fluid? Fluid of what?
It came from its eyeball, right, Aeolus?
Oh.
Lori shudders.
That's nasty.
Like I said, my own research.
Siegfried mentioned that it was not connected to the weave, but I felt a familiarity to it, something connected to a book that I found in my childhood. I feel...
Siegfried just like, oh no, why'd you say that?
Tadell sort of looks like with a cocked eyebrow.
What do you mean connected to?
I don't know. They had the same flavor, the same essence. I don't know. There was a familiarity.
Of a few nightmares he's had as a younger child. Right, Willem?
You have nightmares.
Yes.
You are old. Why you have nightmares now?
I did not know that nightmares were age dependent.
Of course they are. Once you get old, you big strong, don't have nightmares anymore.
Well,
Oh, well
I
then
am
I'm
not
not old
big.
yet.
but I will. Oh, well, never mind.
What did the nightmares encompass?
A cloaked figure, a cliff. Much more I do not remember. But I can show you the picture. I drew it.
Yes, arts, yes.
Sidar sort of leans forward, visibly intrigued.
And taking. Actually, do you mind if I toss an insight out on this one to see what I would do?
Sure. Against Sidar, go for it.
Oh, that's more on to see if I caught that they were trying to get me to shut up.
Oh, the group. That's
yeah.
very well.
So I feel
mean,
like
I think
wouldn't.
Siegfried would have protested in the beginning, but now he's like, you might as well.
Well,
Don't-
at the mention of Willem talking about his recent nightmare, Aeolus just kind of like puts his head in his hand, and she's like,
Oh, I won't mention that the book where I have drawn the pictures is actually the book that I found as a child. But I'll open it up and show him
Yes,
pictures of the
Siegfried
rooms.
would just put like a reassuring hand on Willem's shoulder.
So you pass the book across the table to Sidar?
I would walk it around and show them. I don't think I would feel comfortable just giving it up.
Okay.
It's like my comfort blankie.
Gotcha. So Sidar, as you pass around, Arthur takes a glance. Sidar is looking at it intently.
This is beautiful work. The cliffs make me think of Gunridge Bluffs. Have you traveled there recently?
I don't think I am familiar with it.
Deep in the Pinwood, the cliffs grow sheer above the waters. Very dangerous.
you've seen a few of these symbols that remind you of the bluffs.
No, the drawings is done. The only place nearby that I've seen cliffs like that are the Pinwood themselves. You can see them from the ocean when you sail east towards Amskirk, but it is quite high. I've not gotten a perspective from higher up in the cliffs, but I couldn't think of anywhere else.
Is that against Sidar?
Yeah, just wanting to see if they're being honest, they're holding anything back, just getting a feel for what they're saying.
He seems invested in whatever this is. Based on your the group's previous checks, you did okay on yours.
Yeah, sorry, I ran to the restroom,
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way.
No worries. He seems to be fishing for details, maybe to concoct some tale or story or rumor or whatever. But also generally interested in something that there's not a lot of details about. If in his mind he's connected whatever this is to the Pinwood, and that by itself carries a lot of weight as far as telling a story, and story's money to him. Story's business. It gets him seated at meetings like this and with delicious food that he doesn't have to pay for.
Perfect.
And drink that doesn't cost him anything, but some of his happiness the following morning. So he's quite invested. He doesn't seem like a perversely invested, but he's very enthralled by your tale.
Okay.
And enthusiastic about the conversation. Tadell glances at it. The cliffs look like they could be the Pinwood. You said that there was the cloaked figure. Do you know who they are?
I don't. I could not see their face. But Sidar, would you perhaps draw a map indicating where we can go? You can use my journal.
may?
I would be glad to pay you some silver for your time and information.
Of course. He
Nah.
sort of looks
Willem would
around
be
for
like-
like a quill to start writing.
That's what I was going to say. Willem would be like juggling, trying to get, the book. Again, if y'all watch Dragon Prince, it's going to be kind of like Callum's book, where it's got like the leather strap. So juggling, trying to get that off, and the quill and everything
So
out.
pushes his food away, keeps his drink close, but starts working on a rough map of where he thinks this location might be.
You are most wise. Thank you. And would
Yes.
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's it.
Willem would set out 5 silver, in appreciation for the information. I know it is valuable.
I'll Sigurd as a Mayor Tadeli. Have you heard of anything like this?
The creature, I'm not sure. Do you think that the creature, what did you call it? Needle? I'm assuming you told in the story that as you explained the story, you included
Yeah,
the name.
yeah. I'll also note to the
needle?
doctor that we found the corpses of the victims. They had a bunch of tiny needle marks like in their bones. So maybe look out for that.
But Tadel mentioned, he said, this needle monster, do you think it's connected to Bat or even Lander?
I don't know. I just figured Bat is like the smartest person I know personally, and if it had to do with the weave, it probably had to be something big, right? So that's why I thought of her, but finding her that way, that was a total coincidence.
Lander read often on magic. Tadel
Yes.
chimes in.
Yes,
It
he
was one
seemed
of
to be-
his favorite subjects to read about whenever he stopped by.
It also seemed like he was looking specifically for things that happened in the history before Elderthorn. Perhaps connected to magic. At least from what I saw.
Air.
Yes.
When Anders stopped by, did he often, like, do you have your own selection of books that he would browse through?
I have a private library for Nora and myself. My late husband left us well supplied.
I do love a good library.
With your permission, and my apologies if this is overextending, could I and an ally browse through the library to see if there's anything that would possibly help us with finding Lander's
Research?
Yes.
You're more than welcome to. She sort of glances at Tea Dance, and then, like, her expression breaks from him. Although I can tell you what he was looking for. He wasn't always stopping by to read to Nora. A little bit of a story. She gestures towards the physician. We put on to assuage suspicion a little. My home borders the trails into the Pinwood itself. Often he would come by, be seen coming in, and then we would hurry him out the back. He was looking for herbs for Tea Dance to try to help Nora get better. Things that
She sort of glances at Storm Surge, like a little bit of tears in her eyes. He sort of pats her forearm a little bit. Please go on. A little bit of a stern look on him. He was seeing if there was any maybe magical remedies to whatever was belaying Nora. He would venture into the Pinwood for a full day, sometimes get back late. Once we had to explain away that he fell asleep while reading to Nora, and he slept in the chair outside her chamber until the next morning. He didn't return until midday the following from the bows. He was going in to find things that T-Dance thought might help, that we thought, based on the research that we have, some tomes on magical acumen could try to help Nora. None of it ever came about to anything, but I felt guilty hiding that secret, but I didn't want people to look at Nora as the reason that a respectable man would go into those woods week after week. Sweet of him. I'm sorry. He gets up and steps away from her.
Anders is a strong boy. And from what we've learned thus far, it was hard to sway him when he set his mind to something.
T-Dance will chime in. He was adamant about helping. It was so sweet of him to do so. It really affirmed, from what I saw of everything, that Nara had made an excellent selection of her spouse-to-be.
He must have been quite a skilled individual to survive the Pinwood on his own. I wish I would have talked to him more.
Do you have any of...
Maris sits back down at this point after drying her eyes.
Do you have any of the notes on the herbs that he was gathering?
Yes, T-Dance. Yes, I have them. I have samples of the herbs as well. None of it worked. I think Nara's just been able to deal with this on her own. Credit to her. I don't know how effective I've been, other than just keeping her in decent health. Well, plenty of nutritious meals.
When exactly did you start seeing an improvement in Nara's condition?
About a month ago? She had lost some weight recently, and we were worried about it, but she rapidly improved from there. And based on her as she was getting better, we were hoping that we would have a joyful late spring wedding.
What did Lander...
Stick around for the next few months anyway. Siddell's paid me well, not to hide that fact. And Siddell chimes in. And we were going to have a nice ceremony, see if we could get any family from abroad to come in, but it's going to be a very beautiful one. I haven't announced anything yet.
What did Lander do when her condition started getting better? Did he continue to go into the Pinwood?
He was still searching. he wasn't sure if any of the herbs were helping. I told him that they weren't, but he continued in this belief, fervent, in his pursuits. And T-Dan speaking, and then Tadell will chime in. Yeah, he did stop spending time in a library, though. He said he couldn't stand being around all of the books anymore. He needed to be out doing something. He spent a little bit less time with Nara, which was sad, but...
I'm starting to wonder if there was something in the Pinwood.
That got to Lander? Sorry, Cedar would chime in. That got to Lander? As he's handing the book back to you, Willem, with a crude map of the coast drawn onto it. About 2 days' journey along the coastline to these large bluffs.
Yes, thank you. Somebody was asking me about if I knew who the figure was. I missed who that was.
Tidal was.
Okay. So after...
Because Cedar was focusing on the entire encompassment.
Yeah. So after talking to Cedar, Willem would shift the pages over to a picture of the figure and show Tidal. Say, this is the creature that I saw.
My. Sinister? You think Lander had something to do with the Pinwood, though?
I think sometimes you stay in the woods long enough, it changes something in you. For better or worse.
Yeah, to bolster Siegfried's point, we have seen a few things and have experienced, and he'll motion to the monster leg that he now takes off the table. If Lander saw or experienced this and it was gradual over time, maybe he came across something that was afraid of him spreading information. Looks like we have to go into the Pinwood regardless.
I'll turn to Arvir and the captain. Lander, he tried to hire two half-elf twins. Has anyone heard a report of them? They would have landed 6 days ago? 8 days ago?
8 days. And then not shown up for work on the 7 days ago.
And
you ascertained what they did on the 7th day. They spoke with Gogron and Amberbreed.
Yeah, and they didn't stay at Buka's, as far as she can tell, and she knows everyone's faces.
And they purchased quite a bit of hunting material. And, to our knowledge, may have gone up into the Pinwood.
It does seem like the Pinwood is most definitely our next destination, doesn't it?
Laurie chimes in.
Is it possible that the Goldworthys hired them? Hunt down whatever got their son?
I don't know.
You said hunting.
Well, it looks like we should go check in with the Goldworthys before we head off into the Pinwood.
And we need to find Wes.
We do. Arvir. And
yes.
Storm Surge.
What is it?
This investigation is undoubtedly going to take Siegfried and I away.
You're
For
fine
a
on
bit.
time. Don't worry. It's well within the business of Blackburn.
But I think you guys have the worst job. You have to.
Dessert. As more trays are set in front of you. It's like a selection of fruits, cheeses.
An officer was killed in the keep. We have to figure out how they got in, don't we?
We do. Lori is, as he gestures down to the far end of the table, Lori is heading up that pursuit. Right now, none of the advisors are being brought into the fold, just in case someone was too anxious for an upward mobility.
Whoever did this must have been very skilled. I mean, everything I heard about the bat, she wasn't someone to be messed with.
And she was someone skilled with magic as well, which, based on what T-Dances said, makes me think someone with magical ability did this. I don't think she put herself in that chest.
Is it out of realm to have permission to go back into the office, maybe investigate more?
You're more than welcome to.
So, I don't mean any disrespect. Do we have arms here other than our great spears?
Yeah, we have a selection of them, yes. What do you need?
I was looking to grab a sword.
Consider yourself equipped.
Thank
Pick
you.
it up from the armory after we finish eating. Say that I authorized it.
Thank you, sir.
Arvira. I don't get access to armory. Why he get access to armory? Because he's helping. And whilst you are helping, you have other jobs to attend to, Arvir. Fine.
Please just send out an APB or something for Wes. If anyone finds him, keep him there until we can get there.
Hare, do you have an escort back to your home?
I believe Captain Storm Surge had offered to walk me. Thank you, though.
High pleasure. It has suddenly come to my recognition that our abodes aren't that far off from each other.
Where is it that you reside, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm on the northern edge of the Market March, upwards towards the Penwoods.
Oh, behind the row homes, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, not much a stone's throw. I'm sure you know the Manor House, the large building, just on the outside of the Sea Dock Ward.
Yes.
But thank you. I do appreciate it. Storm Search has been helping me keep my mind busy, and doing a good job of making sure I feel safe. So.
Well, so that we can get as much time investigating. Is there anything else that we need to speak of here, with all due respect?
Nothing comes mind. You have carte blanche to take thing from armory. Lucky. But, no. Unless... Looks at Lori, shakes her head. Sidar chimes in. If you happen to see the cliffs in person, could you make another drawing for me?
Yes, of course. I think it will be significant. I have a feeling.
Sidar hiccups. And then turns to his left, where Helarast is seated. And you, do you need an escort home, my dear? Helarast?
It might be okay.
Ah, okay.
Sorry. Who was that oriented towards?
Helarast.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't heard from her a bit, but I hope she's not muted.
She is muted at the moment. I don't know if she's speaking.
Yeah.
Well, while Sidar and Helarast are speaking, the physician T-Dance will say, I'll get you a list of the herbs that he was looking for from me. And the thing, he got through most of the list. We were only able to not find a few things, or things that spoil too quickly. The group of you is interrupted at this point. Sound of heavy boots and clanging armor over chainmail. As running into the main hall from the courtyard outside. One of the members of the watch with their helm on, probably on patrol, is running in. Storm surge! Storm surge! There's a fire! There's a fire!
Well, Siegfried stands up and he starts running.
Alright, apparently my bot doesn't want to work.
Aeolus would also stand up at that.
Yeah, you betcha.
There's
I
Helarast.
pick up Willem again. All right, come on, Willem.
I'm
You're
only
not
on my
starting
third, so we're leaving again.
Just
Not
chug
even-
those 3 glasses done and do it quickly. I know you can.
Sidar turns to Helarast. No, my dear. I was going to escort you.
We want you to have a harness made for you, Siegfried.
It might help
Just-
you draw better.
As the group of you sprint out into the courtyard, there's a billowing amount of smoke, and the sky has this bit of a glow to it. This light emanating from be roughly north by northeast of where you are. Like you're sort of looking back past the keep. You go out the main door, turn around clockwise. Are you all staying together as you go?
I imagine so.
Yeah,
Make
and
me an acrobatics check.
Yeah, of course. We're not going to separate.
acrobatics check.
Yeah, done.
Ah.
Done, and you lose half.
Oh
of your
no!
as you're trying to
What was this
balance
race?
your fruit and cheese as you go. Grapes go flying. One of them gets swished underfoot by someone.
I'm still hungry. Fire.
You wheel past the keep itself and start turning. Trying to get past the main area. Let me move you guys to the map itself. Apparently my audio's decided to cut out my music. That's okay. As you rush out of Blackburn Keep, because you saw the fire from somewhere up this direction. You rush out of Blackburn Keep, turn around, rush towards into the Tilt Winds, rushing, and there's a pit forming in your stomach as you wheel past the Market March. And Aeolus, you see your home consumed in flames.
Oh, shit.
Willis runs in.
It is. It's not just like the roof is on fire. It is an inferno.
Are you crazy?
Make me a Constitution saving throw. As you get closer, you push yourself close enough that you feel this burning, radiating heat, and you can feel your skin starting to blister before you even get past the threshold. You take 5 points of fire damage just getting close to this all-encompassing heat. You can't. Your brain isn't letting you force yourself any closer to it.
Are there any tracks, anything leading away from?
Yeah,
Make me a
Siegfried.
survival check. As you're
Yeah.
looking around, you have, even though it's darkness, you have normal rolls on this because of the light that is being provided by the massive torch that is your home.
Siegfried is going to cast Detect Magic. And he's also going to go into dragon form.
Yeah, Hellerast is ready to send her spider in there to see if she can grab anything.
By the time you guys get there, you can hear bells ringing, a fire brigade being put together, people bringing well water, trying to staunch it. Other buildings being immediately starting to get wetted by people realizing that seeing the fire, knowing they can't do anything about that, but they're preventing it from spreading to other buildings at the moment, bit by bit. So they're trying to protect the rest of the town and keep this from spreading across thatched roofs and the like. So starting on Aeolus, your survival check. You do see footprints that don't seem to match you or your companions, the group that's with you. Everyone except Sidar. In addition to the group of you, T-Dance, Arvir, and Lori came along as well. Sidar, the mayor, and Storm Surge did not start rushing right away. You're not sure why. But as you look around, size up your companions, look at their feet, look at the people that came with you, you see 3 sets of footprints that don't seem to match any of the group of you.
Which direction do they head off in?
They head off to the east. Which is
towards the Pinwood.
There's no farmer's field quite due east of you, since your home is here. That's now being burnt to the ground. So there's a little bit of a farmer's field that you would cut if you're going to the Pinwood itself, but they head off in this vague direction.
Aeolus would turn and wouldn't even pay attention to the group. He would just scream out to Hellerast, the location or the wall that is closest to the armoire, and then would just head off in full sprint.
Okay, sounds good. Siegfried, you're casting Detect Magic. Immediately, since T-Dance does carry one thing that is magical, it looks like a sort of U band made of like woven U that is around her wrist. It has the aura of evocation magic. So T-Dance has one magical thing. The fire itself does not appear to be magical of any sort, and nothing else sort of stands out to you. Just T-Dance.
Aeolus, hold up! I'm following Aeolus.
Okay.
Where are you going?
I'll start following Aeolus, and if I can do a survival check to keep up with him.
Sounds good. Oh, you just need to watch Aeolus if Aeolus.
Oh yeah, okay. No, yeah. So yeah, I will.
Helleras,
follow.
you said you're trying to get in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can direct my spider. What's her name? Cora into there.
Okay. And how much? What is Cora's hit points? At this
Oh,
time?
you would have to ask. 10 AC, 10 provisional bonus. I don't have her token here, so not really.
So let me pull up your sheet. So it says that in the ability, AC 10, hit points. Right after that, AC 10 plus proficiency bonus. Hit points equal to your Constitution modifier plus twice your Shaman level. So you're level 3, so that's 6 plus your Constitution modifier 4, so 10.
10. Okay.
All right. So sending her in there.
To try to find that scroll or that parchment.
Okay. I'd like 3 investigation checks with disadvantage using your stats.
Okay.
Ooh, pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. The reason I asked with hit point total is I rolled the damage per round from the fire.
Okay.
Until it exceeded her maximum.
Right.
Which is when she gets the corporation gets broken. So you got 3 rounds of looking for it. When she went in. You get the sense that she was unable to locate anything based on the description that you imparted to her.
Okay. And she was going to the wall near the armoire.
Yeah, based on what Aola said, correct.
Okay. Is that wall nearest the armoire engulfed in flames already, like they've come out of the wall, or could a hole be punched into that wall to see if something could be?
The wall itself is on fire at this point.
Is on fire on the
wooden
outside.
structure that runs in between the mortar has itself caught and is rapidly going towards the building collapsing.
Yeah.
Okay. My music doesn't want to work at all because the bots are being bots. All right, so the rest of you, as you are rushing away, Willem, are you staying with Helleras at this point? Or are you rushing after them?
Yeah, I'm rushing after him.
Okay. So Helleras, you're left behind for a brief moment. Coming up after you, sort of catching up to the remaining group, which is you, Hellerast, Arvir, Lori, and T-Dance, is the mayor being supported by Captain Stormsurge. She's got a bad limp. Seems like like when she got up earlier and stepped out, like when she was drying her eyes, she didn't have this limp. And Cedar close behind them, sort of like looking around curiously, trying to take in all the details that he can. Sorry about that. She slipped on some grape that had fallen on the floor.
Hellerast will go up and support her other arm.
Oh,
and also just kind of take a deep sniff.
Deep sniff?
Not really. Yeah, just to see if she smells like smoke.
Oh, smelling the mayor?
Yes, smelling the mayor, because she disappeared, and then there was a fire, and now she's back and she's limping. So she's just going to take a little sniff.
Got it. Yeah, no, she only stepped away for like a moment earlier to dry her eyes.
Oh, okay.
From the story. But no, she smells like dew and lilacs.
Ah, nice. Well, then at least it's a nose clearing experience.
At the very least. Much different from the burning, charring wood of Aeolus's home. But the rest of you are sprinting away at this point. So Aeolus, Dunnan, Siegfried, and Willem. You are sprinting after this. Aeolus, I want you to make me a survival check with disadvantage.
Yeah,
You're
I would.
taking this breakneck pace.
After we got away a little bit, I would start to light a torch.
Okay.
Could I also make a survival check as well?
At disadvantage, yeah.
Yeah. But in starry form, I can't get below a 10,
Okay.
which is hopefully helps.
Oh, not bad. That's slightly better than even if you got below a 10.
Yeah.
Noted. Okay, so as the two you're sprinting, Aeolus, you get across the farmer's field, like you blaze through, kicking over a few mounds of dirt. You're gonna have to apologize at some point tomorrow, probably, maybe. And you lose the trail on the far side of the field. You look around at the moment. As soon as Siegfried and Dunnan catch up, Dunnan, you have that torch lit at this point, shedding light. Siegfried's already shedding some light. You are able to start picking up the trail again. The one of the set of footprints has dissipated. It's gone. You're not sure where it went. Two more sets are two of the three sets are continuing, and they're turning more eastward, going into the Pinwood deeply. Like you're on the border of the woods right now.
Where the footsteps disappear, do I sense any lingering magic or anything like that around there?
You do not. No.
Okay.
The only magic that you had sensed was the tea dances item.
Okay.
And that is now outside of that range anyway.
Okay.
The last thing that the group of you are noticing, now that you have proper light here, as the trees are beginning on here and there, as you get to the edge of the Pinwood, you see two of these sets of tracks going into the trees themselves, and one of them vanishing, sort of like fading into nothing. It's not a hard stop. It's just imagine someone like stepping from like deep mud into thinner mud onto like gravel onto like all of a sudden onto like tile floor, and there's no footprints anymore. Like they fade into nothingness. The two sets of tracks go between these trees here and there, and the light shedding over the space. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Illuminates carvings onto the trunks of the trees here. Carvings that are not oozing sap as you would expect, nor are they healing over. You're not sure if these are fresh or old. There's one carving here near you, a second one about a dozen feet ahead, another one a little bit further to the south, and then one more further past that. These carvings are the first time many of you have seen symbols similar to that Lander had scribed. We'll pick up there next session.
Woohoo!
As we see the carvings, Siegfried and Dunnan would notice Aeolus's fists become enraptured with